In this video, we are going to learn how to use TanStack query. This is a powerful asynchronous state management. So let's click get started. And I'm going to showing you the overview first. So as you can see here, to use query here, we can get the is loading, the error, and data exactly right here. So we can just put fetch here to get the data from the API. So as you can see, this is really simple thing here, and we get all the is loading error and is error and the data here. All right. So in this video, I'm going to showing you how that we can make a CRUD operation, which is create, read, update, and delete in this simple project. And of course, I'm going to use React and also Fit to generate React application. And I'm going to use JSON-Server. JSON-Server is basically package that help us to create full fake REST API. All right. This is really simple, and I think it's really good to show that in our learning process with TanStack query. All right, so this is the app gonna be look like. Really simple, nothing fancy in here. So as you can see here, we have add new post form. So if I add post one, so let's say this is post one. If I hit enter, and as you can see, we get a post one here. And of course, this is gonna be make a post request, and then we make a get request as well here. Okay. And I'm going to add the post 2. So let's say post 2, and this is post 2. And I hit enter, and as you can see, we have post 2 down here. And of course, I can click that, this text here, I can click that, and we on the detail post here. And as you can see here, the road is going to be post / the ID here. We're going to use UUID to generate this ID. And we can go back to list, and I can click the post 2 as well. And as you can see, this is showing the post to detail. I can go back, and of course here we can delete that. So for example, I'm going to delete the post 2, and it's going to be gone. All right, it's pretty fast. And as you can see, I can not delete, but I can edit the post. As you can see here, post 1, I can do update it, and if I hit submit, as you can see, we have post 1 updated. Okay, so that's we are going to learn in this video. Hope this is helpful, guys. And let's jump to the VS Code. So in here, I have empty folder called CRUD React query, and I'm going to generate fit here. So let's create a fit at lettuce. Okay, and I'm going to generate that into the current folder. So here I'm going to select React and then just JavaScript. All right, so we can say npm install to install the dependency. After that is done, we can run npm run dev. So it's done. Let's do npm run dev. And it should be open localhost 5173. This is what we have. All right. So I'm going to remove a couple things here. So I'm going to remove the asset, CSS, all the CSS. I don't need that. So I'm going to remove that. Let's delete that and go to main.jsx. I'm going to remove this index.js, index.css. And let's go to app.jsx here. And I'm going to remove all this content here. All right. So now let's put h1 and let's say app. And I'm going to remove all up here. First, let's working with the route. I'm going to use React Router DOM. So let's Control C, and I'm going to install the package. So the package should be React-Router-DOM, right? So let's hit enter. After it's done, we can run that again, npm run dev. So now let's go to main.jsx, and I'm going to wrap this app with browser router. So let's go with a browser router. We need to wrap all this app here inside the browser router. Okay, just like that. And also inside the app component, so let's open the app component. So first, let's remove this class name here. We don't need that. And also I'm going to remove the h1 here. And first I'm going to put h1, and I'm going to say awesome blog. Okay, just kind of title here. And also here I have like roads. Okay, this basically will wrap our individual road. So this is the individual road. Just make sure you import all the component up here. We have road and roads as well. So in here, I'm going to put the path. Okay, the path is going to be /, and this is going to be render the element is going to be, I'm going to call that post list. So let's create a folder here called pages. I'm going to give a name pages. And inside these pages, I'm going to create a file called post list.jsx. Okay, so let's generate RIFCE, and I'm going to import here. So let's do post list. All right, just like that. And also we have a couple rows here. So this is going to be the detail. So I can say post /colon ID. Okay, and this is going to be the individual post. So I'm going to say post.jsx, right? So I'm going to do RIFCE, and now we can import right here. So we can say post just like that. And this is for the edit basically. So I can say post colon ID and then /edit. All right. So let's create the pages first, and I'm going to call this edit post.jsx. Right. So let's say RIFCE, and I'm going to import the component here. So let's say edit post, just like that. All right. So let's go back here, and now we have post list. All right. If I go to /post/1, we have this individual post. If I go to 1/edit, it should be the edit post. All right, everything look working perfectly fine. Let's go back to the VS Code. Let's create the form. I'm going to create a folder called components inside the source. Let's do components folder, and inside this components folder, I'm going to create a file called, I'm going to say post form.jsx. All right, so let's generate RIFCE, and I'm going to import this post form into edit post. So I'm going to put that right here. So let's do post form. Okay, just like that. So let's go back to post form, and in here, instead of div, I'm going to use form. All right, so let's say form, and I'm going to remove the action, and in here I'm going to create a function called render field. Okay, this function is basically have one parameter, which is I'm going to send title. So here I'm going to create a function. So let's do cons. Name should be render field, and it's going to be a row function, and it's like a label here. So let's grab the label, and instead of returning curly braces, I'm going to use normal parenthesis. And in here, I'm going to render div, and inside this div, I have a label. Right, I'm going to remove the HTML4, and in here, I'm going to render the label. Let's do label, and down here, I'm going to render the input. So let's say input. This input have a type called text, and also have a, I'm going to say name here, and the name it should be come from the label, but I'm going to use a to lowercase function. So I'm going to say label dot to lowercase. So I'm going to say to lowercase, just like that. All right, so now if I open that in the browser, and as you can see, we have title and also the input field here. Okay, if I want to create another input field, I can copy and paste this, and I'm going to change that to a body. Okay, just like that. So now we have body here. Okay, so now I'm going to create the state here. So I'm going to call that post. So let's say cons post and set post. Okay, set that equals to use state. By default, it should be have an object here, and we have title. By default, it should be empty string, and the body by default it should be empty string as well. So here I'm going to put value. So let's do value set equals to, I'm going to access this title here. Okay, so we can say post, and we can access the label. So let's do label, and then dot to lowercase. Okay, and also I need to add on change event in here in this input. So I'm going to say on change, so that equals to, I'm going to create a function called handle change input. So let's create the function I'm going to do up here. So let's say cons handle change input, so that equals to, we grab the event, and in here what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the post into an object here. I'm going to grab the previous value inside the post, and also down here I'm going to access the name. So let's say e.target.name, which is down here. As you can see, where's that? This where's the name here? Oh, down here, right? Name, and also I'm going to set a value inside this e.target.name, which is e.target.value. All right, so when I save, and I'm going to console log the post now. All right, so let's open the console here. Let's do console. Let's refresh, and as you can see, by default it's going to be empty string, and I'm going to change the title to 1. It's not working. So let's go back to VS Code here. Something wrong. Oh, it should be target here, not target. Okay. Let's save that and let's refresh. It should be work. Let's change the title to 1 and the body, let's say body 1. Okay. Everything will look perfectly fine. Let's go back to VS Code and I'm going to add button here. So let's do button, and the button should be have a submit, and also the type it should be submit as well. Let's do submit. All right, we have the button here. Nice. So next I'm going to handle the on submit event here. So I'm going to say on submit set equals to handle submit function. So let's create the function. I'm going to do here. Let's say const handle submit set equals to arrow function, and here I'm going to prevent default. So let's do e dot prevent default, because I don't want to the browser reload every time I create the new post or edit new post or edit post, right? So here what I'm gonna do is first I'm going to console log post, and then I'm going to set the post back to empty string for the title. Okay, it should be back to empty string, and also for the body it should be back to empty string as well. All right, so if I refresh and I'm going to remove the post here. All right, it's look clean. So now I'm going to add a title 1, and this is body. I'm going to hit enter, and as you can see here we have the value which is title and body. All right, it's look cool. So let's go back, and basically I'm going to create another component called add post. So we are going to back to the list post. Okay, this one, post list, and in here, up here, I'm going to create one form called add post. So let's go back to the VS Code, and in here I'm going to create component called add post.jsx, and in here let's say RIFCE, and I'm going to remove the text and put the heads to, and I'm going to say add new post, and down here I'm going to render the post form. Okay, so basically we use the post form into the edit and also the add post as well. So as you can see, if I refresh, nothing happened because we not yet put the add post into the post list. So let's go back here, and I'm going to put that right here. So let's do add post, and we are going to put the list here. All right, as you can see, we have the add new post inside the list here. So now let's working with the TanStack query here. So the first thing is let's go to the installation, and what we need to do is let's run the npm install TanStack/React query. So let's go back to VS Code and open the terminal, and in here I'm going to paste the npm install TanStack/React query, and also I'm going to install the DevTools as well. So let's click DevTools, and also this one I'm going to copy that. Okay, let's go back to VS Code. Let's wait until it's done. All right, so it's done. Let's install the dev tool as well. So let's hit enter. All right, it's done. So now let's do npm run dev again. It should be running the local host. And now let's go back to main.jsx. So basically I'm going to close all the tab, and now I'm going to open the main. And in here, what we need to do is I'm going to wrap this with a query client provider. So let's go back to the overview, and as you can see here, what we need to do is basically we need to wrap our app with query client provider. So let's go back here. I'm going to do here, let's say query client provider, select this one, and I'm going to put the app right here, and also I'm going to create the client. So let's do create a client. So here I'm going to say const, let's say query client set equals to new query client. Okay, it's come from TanStack/React query. And now we need to put the client here. So let's do client set equals to query client. Okay, basically everything you see here is from here. Okay, we create the query client and put the client here. Okay, just like that. Before we fetch the data, I think now we need to install the JSON-Server. So let's go to JSON-Server here, and what we need to do is let's scroll down, and you can install that globally. So you can copy that, and paste that into the terminal, but I just want to install that as a dependency. So let's remove the -g right there, and I'm going to install that. All right, so it's done. Let's run the app again, and now I'm going to create the file called db, let's say db.json. So in here I'm going to, let's say, post. All right, and it's basically an array, and inside this array we have a couple objects. So first I'm gonna put a id. So the id is gonna be, let's say, 1, and also I'm gonna put the, let's say, title. Let's say this is title 1, and also we have a body. So let's say body, and I'm gonna say this is body 1. All right, so save, and I'm going to open another terminal, and in here we can run that by JSON-Server -watch and the file that you put right here. All right, so let's go back to VS Code, and in here I'm gonna say JSON-Server, and I'm gonna say -watch, and the file should be db.json. You can put that into the folder if you want, but just leave it at for now. All right, so now if I click this 3000/post, we get the get request here. Okay, we get the data. All right, so it's working. So now what we need to do is, let's make it small, and I'm going to, let's go to the post list. Okay, this one. Before I read some code in this post list, I just want to go back to the documentation, and let's go to queries. All right, so as you can see here, we can grab a lot of things come from use query. You can grab is loading, is error, data error. Basically, there's a lot of things. You can grab status basically here, I believe. Okay, so let's go back to the VS Code, and here I'm going to create a variable called fetch. Let's say fetch post query. Okay, so that equals to use query. All right, and here, as you can see in the documentation, we can send the query keys and also query function. So let's do here. I'm gonna send the query key. Okay, it's basically an array, and I'm gonna give a name post. So basically the name is up to you guys. So I'm gonna give a name post. Okay, this for the list post. And if I go to the, for example, the detail of the post, I just want to add ID here. Okay, I'm gonna work that later, but for now let's put post because we on the list post. And also let's go back here, and we need to put the query function. So let's do query function, and what we need to do here is basically function that returning promise. So let's create a function. I'm going to create a function called inside a source. I'm gonna create a folder called API, and inside the API folder I'm going to create a file called post.jsx. Okay, so in here I'm going to export async function. So let's do function, and I'm going to give a name fetch post for list post. And in here, what I'm going to do, let's say const. I'm going to create a variable called response. Set equals to, I'm going to await for fetch. Okay, I'm going to fetch the http:// and it should be local host. All right, and the port should be 3000/post. Okay, and down here I'm going to return response.json, just like that. So now we can use this function into the query function here, so we can put that right here. All right, just make sure you import up here. Okay, so after we're doing that, so now I can console log the fetch post query. So let's say console log fetch post, let's do post query. Okay, which is this variable here. So when I save, and let's go back to the app here, and as you can see here, we get a lot of things. We have data, error, basically. As you can see, we have status, remove, is error, and the data here. So let's go back here, and I'm going to destructuring that what we need. Okay, we need to grab the is loading, we need to grab is error, we need to grab the data, and also the error. Okay, just like that. And now I'm going to console log the data here. So let's put it here. So let's go back and I'm going to refresh. And as you can see, first time we have undefined, and then we get this data. All right, let's make a get request. Pretty cool. So now we can add, we can handle the is loading and is error here. So we can say if is loading is true, I'm going to return string call, just say loading, I think loading, just like that. And also down here, I'm going to check if is error is true. I'm going to return, let's say I'm going to use backtick here. Let's say error, and I'm going to put the error dot message. Okay, just like that. All right, so if I refresh, you can see we get the data. Okay, cool. So now let's I'm going to change the name this data here into post. So let's say post, and now I can map through the post here. So I can say let's do post dot map. I get the individual posts, and in here I'm going to returning div. All right, let's do div, and I'm going to send the key. Key should be post.id, and also down here I'm going to render a h5, and this is going to be the post.title. So I'm going to say post.title. Wait, title. What happened? Title. Okay, so as you can see, we have this title here. Pretty cool. And also here I'm going to put a button. So let's do button, and it's going to be edit and also delete. All right, and also inside this div here, I'm going to just add a background color here. So let's do background, and I'm gonna give a color, let's say 77, and here we go. And also when I click this title here, I need to go to the /post/id. So let's go to heading 5 here, and I'm gonna say on click event. When I click that, I need to go to the, I'm gonna use navigate. Use navigate come from React.js. So I'm gonna say cons navigate. Okay, set equals to use navigate come from React.js, and then we can do, let's go back here. We can do navigate into, I'm gonna use backtick post / and I'm gonna put the ID here. So I'm gonna say post.id. Okay, just like that. So now save, and let's go back here. And as you can see, when I click this, this is title 1. As you can see, now we on the post/1. All right. And also I just want to add another styling here. Basically, I'm gonna change the cursor into pointer here. So let's say cursor, cursor into, let's do pointer. Okay, just like that, so that we know this is going to be clickable. All right, then go back here. Let's create another post. Let's say this, let's say post 2, and this is post 2. Okay, if I hit enter, and oh yeah, I think the form here is not working for now. All right, I think we can create that inside the db.json file here. So let's copy this, put it right here, and we can remove the ID here to 2. Also, this is title 2, and also this is body 2. Right? So if I save, as you can see, we have two posts here. If I click this is title 2, we on the post/2 here. All right. So the next thing is basically when I click this edit button, I just want to format the document first so you can see clearly here. So when I click this edit button, I need to go to the post/id/edit. So let's copy this on click and go to this button, and this is going to be /edit. Okay, let's try. I'm going to go back here and click edit. It should be on the edit page. All right, so as you can see up here, how that we can fetch data is pretty simple, guys. This is a few line of code, and we get all that we need, which is error, is loading, data, and error here. Okay, that's pretty cool. So now let's working with the post component here. And before we go to the post component, I just want to, let's scroll down into the JSON-Server, and as you can see here, we can get the individual post inside the /post/ whatever the ID. So let's go back to the API post here, and I'm going to copy this and paste that here. This is going to be fetch post for individual posts, and we are going to put the ID here. Okay, and the string here, it should be use backtick because we need to put the ID here. So let's say / and then we put the ID right here. Okay, just like that. Let's go back to post, and in here basically it's really similar like we did it in here. So we can just copy that. Okay, let's go back to the post here and paste that in here, just like that. So the query key, basically we are gonna add the ID here. Okay, the IDs basically come from the use params, so we can grab that. So we can say cons, we can grab ID come from the use param, so we can say set equals to use param is basically come from React.js. Okay, just like that. So this is going to be the fetch post for individual posts. All right, just like that, we're done. And let's go back to the detail here, and as you can see, we get some error. Use query is not defined. So let's import the use query, and let's save. And here we go. It's object here. That's because we don't yet send the ID. So what we need to do is we need to say function here, right? And we need to say fetch post, and let's put the ID here, just like that. So now when I save, refresh and go to network, and as you can see, it's make a get request in the post /1. All right, so let's enable the React query DevTools. So let's go back to main, and yeah, we don't yet import that, right? So let's go back to the documentation, and what we need to do is let's go to the DevTools here, click on it, and let's scroll down. So what we need to do is let's import the React query DevTools. So let's go back here inside the query provider. We need to import the React query DevTool. So let's say React query DevTools, and here the initial open, I'm going to set that to false. So let's say initial open set it equals to, let's say, false. Okay, so let's go back here and refresh. Something wrong. Right, this error is because we wrong import that from here. Okay, I don't know, let's go back to the documentation, and what we need to do is let's just copy this import and copy that and put it right here. So let's override this import here. Okay, so now it should be work. So now as you can see, we have this icon here. When I click that, it should be showing the DevTools, and as you can see, we have all the information here. We have the data here, right? And if I go back, all right, and let's do, if I go back, and as you can see here, we have the post, right? So I'm gonna show you something in here. So let's go back to post, and I'm gonna handle the is loading and is error first. So I'm gonna copy this. Okay, let's copy that and go back here. I'm gonna put that right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna showing the data here. So I'm gonna change that to just individual posts, and in here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put h1, and I'm gonna render the title here. Let's say post.title, and also the body. So let's put a p tag here, and let's do post.body. Okay, and here I'm going to create a button. Okay, and this button here is basically back to, let's do back to list posts. Okay, and I'm going to add on click event, and when I click that, I need to run the navigate. So let's do a navigate up here. So I'm gonna say cons navigate set it equals to use navigate come from React.js, and then here we need to say navigate into just /. All right, so let me go back here, and I'm going to make it small so you can see everything, and I'm going to refresh here. Let's open the network. So I'm going to make it really slow, I think, so you can see. right? We have loading here, and then we get the data, right? When I click this detail one, which is title one here, when I click that, we have the loading, right? And then we get the data. When I go back, and as you can see here, we not get any loading here. When I click this is title one, we not get any loading. Okay, what happened is basically the data here is gonna become from the caching here, right? So that's pretty cool. I think this is really fast. So it's gonna be happen with the title too as well. When the first time I click that, it should be fetching the data, as you can see that, right? When I go back and I click that again, as you can see, it's automatically right here. Okay, we don't see any loading, right? That's the beauty about React query, and I love that so much. So let's continue, right? So let's go back here, what we need to do next. So now let's working with the add post component here, all right? So in add post here, we're gonna use mutation. So let's go back to the documentation and let me scroll down. So let's see this mutation here. So let's click that. As you can see here, unlike queries, mutation are typically used to create, update, and delete data or perform server-side effect. So if you want to just get data from the API, basically we need to use query, all right? Like we did it into the post list here, all right, this one. But if you want to change something from the server, what we need to do is let's use mutation, just this one, right? So let's go back to add post. So what we need to do here, we are gonna create something like this one. So I'm gonna do, let's say, cons. I want to give a name, create post mutation. So that equals to, I'm gonna say use mutation, all right? And here I'm going to say mutation function. So let's do mutation fn, which is function. And in here, I'm going to create, let's go back to the post here, and I'm going to create, let's see here, I want to create the create post. Let's say create post, okay, just like that. And let's go back to the JSON-Server, and as you can see here, we can create a post with /post. So let's go back. I'm going to remove the ID here. And we need to send an object inside in here. So let's do object. And in here, we are gonna specify the method here. So let's do down here, let's say method. Let's do method set that equals to, it's gonna be post request. And then down here, I'm gonna send the headers. So inside this header, we have the content dash type. Okay, it should be application/JSON. And also down here, we need to send the body. So let's do body. And I'm gonna do JSON.stringify. And I'm gonna put the new post. Okay, this is new post basically come from the props here. Okay, let's say new post, just like that. So yeah, it's done. So now let's go back to add post, and what we need to put in here is basically the create post. So let's do create post. All right, it's come from API/post. So now we need to run the create post mutation.mutate. So as you can see in the documentation here, we can do that with let me scroll down. I think this one, right? We can say mutation.mutate, and we set the object right here. All right, so I'm going to create another function here called handle add post. Let's say handle add post set equals to arrow function is like a post here, and in here I'm gonna say create post mutation dot mutate. Okay, and in here I'm gonna put ID first. Let's say I'm gonna say 3, and also down here I'm gonna put all the posts just like that. So handle add post here, I'm gonna put into the post form. So basically here we have a props called on submit set equals to handle, let's say handle add post. Okay, so let's go to post form, and we are gonna put the on submit here. So let's say, let's just structuring that on submit. like that. And we are gonna put that into the handle submit here. So we can put that right here. So we can say on submit, and I'm gonna put the post right here. Okay, just like that. So now let's go back to the browser, and I'm going to add a new post here. So let's refresh. Okay, let's make it everything clean. I'm going to do nothing here, the network. So now I'm going to add the post 3, and this is post 3. Okay, if I hit enter, and as you can see down here is make a post request here. All right, and basically I just want to remove the / here. We don't need that. So as you can see here is make a post request, and oh, it's right here, right? But let's do that again. I just want to do random something here, and as you can see, if I hit enter, we have something wrong here. What happened? So it's called duplicate ID. That's because here, as you can see inside the add post, we send ID 3. Okay, every time we make a new post. So what I need to do is I'm going to install a UUID. UUID is basically package that will be generate ID for us. So what we need to do first is let's install the package. So I'm going to do here. So let's say npm install UUID version 4, I believe. Oh no, we just put the UUID like so and hit enter. Okay, it's done really fast. Let's say npm run dev again. Okay, let's close the terminal. And in here, how that we can use that. So let's click the, I think this repository here. And let's scroll down, and basically we can import version 4. So we can just copy that and put that right here. And to call that, we just need to say UUID version 4 and run the function. So now we can put the function like so. All right. So let's go back here, and I'm going to create new post with random something here. If I hit enter, and as you can see, it's make a post request. And it is a success, but our data is not right here. Okay, but when I refresh, it's right here. So what happened is basically, so what we need to do is we need to add invalidate query. So let me showing you here this one, invalidate from mutation. And when I scroll down, and as you can see here, when after the function is success, meaning the add to do is success here, we need to run query client dot invalidate query and the query key that we have. So let's go back here, and we need to create a variable called, let's say, query client, set that equals to use query client. Okay, just like that. And after this is success, meaning we have function called on success here. What we need to do is I'm going to run function here. All right, so in here I'm going to say query client dot invalidate query, and I'm gonna say query, let's say query key, and I'm gonna put here post. All right, let's say post, just like that. So basically here we can do anything we want after the function here is done, meaning after its success. We can do, for example, console log success bro, just like that. And when I go back here, let's see right here, I go to console, and if I have another post here, when I hit enter, as you can see we have success bro here, and our data, our post is immediately put that right here. Okay, as you can see. All right, this is really fast. Okay, that's cool. So in here, we need to fetch the individual post, right? I think the code is really similar like this post component here. So what we need to do is, I think we can just copy all of this, okay, and put that right here, just like that. And of course, we need to import the use navigate, use params, and also the fetch post here. Okay, everything will look same, I think. And I'm just trying to console log the post, just make sure we have a post here. Use query is not defined because we don't yet import that. So let's import that right here. So as you can see, we have the ID, title, and body here. We need to put the title right here and also the body right here. So how do we do that? So let's go to post form here, and I'm gonna say initial value set it equals to post. Okay, so let's go back to post form, and in here we need to grab the initial value. Okay, so in this state here, I'm going to add condition here. So if we have initial value, let's use initial value, but if initial value is empty, just use empty string here. This is of course initial value dot title, and also this for the body as well. So let's say initial value dot body, and else I'm gonna use empty string as well here, right? Just inside the add post here, also we need to send the initial value, and this is going to be empty object. All right. So also inside the edit post here, we need to send the on submit set that equals to, I'm going to do handle submit function. Okay, so let's create that here. So let's say const handle submit set equals to arrow function. Okay, just put that like so. And as you can see, basically here we get the data that we want. Okay, if I click the title 2 here, we have this is title 2 and this is body 2. All right, everything will work. So let's go back here. So basically we can grab the value in here. So we can say, I'm gonna say updated post. Okay, and if I console log the updated post here, we should be able to see the value, I think. So let's change that to updated. If I hit enter, and you can see here, this is title 1 updated. All right, it's working. And here, basically, I'm going to create mutation. So let's do here. I'm going to say const update post mutation set equals to use mutation, right? And in here, we are going to say mutation function. You don't have yet, right? So let's create one here. So it's going to be called update post. So I'm going to say update post, and inside the update post here, basically we need to send the updated post just like that. And also we need to send the specific ID here. So you can say updated post dot ID. Okay, and the method here it should be put like that, and everything look this is going to be updated, right? Okay, everything will look same, I think. So it should be updated here. Wait, here we go. All right, cool. So now we can put the update post inside this edit post here. So we can put that right here, just like that. And also if we want to see the result immediately, we don't need to refresh the browser. We need to use like we did it into the add post, which is this one, query client.invalidate query. So we need to copy that and paste that in here. Of course, we need to create the query client up here. So let's copy that and paste that in here. Okay, we need to import the use query client as well. All right. Oh, this is error. That's because we need to run this inside the on success object. So let's say on success. Okay, and we need to run this function here, just like that. All right, and after it's done, we need to navigate that into the /. Okay, just like that. And now we need to run this update mutation inside this handle submit. So we need to run that with handle update post mutation dot mutate, right? Like we did it into the add post. And here we need to send the ID set equals to ID. ID is basically come from this ID here, come from bottoms. And here we need to send the updated ID, not updated ID, updated post. All right, this should be updated like that. And also this is going to be object. So let's put object right here. All right. Cool. So now let's go back here and I'm going to update this title to, let's say, updated. And if I hit enter here, and as you can see here, this is title to updated. Okay, if I click the detail, it's updated, right? All right, I think this is working. So let's go to the post tree. I'm gonna edit that. Post tree new, hit enter, and as you can see here, post tree new. All right, everything worked perfectly fine. So the next thing I'm going to showing you is how that we can working with the delete button here. So we need to go to post list here. So first, of course, we need to create a delete post mutation first. Let's say const delete post mutation set equals to use mutation, right? And we are going to put object here, and we are going to say mutation function. And let's create the function. So let's go back to post here. And I think here I'm going to copy all of this. Copy that. And here this is going to be the delete. Let's say delete post. And this is going to be the ID. And I'm going to delete that. Depend on the ID here. And also we need to remove the body and the headers. And we need to change the method here into delete. So let's say delete. Just like that. So now we need to put the delete post into the mutation function here. So let's put delete post like so. And also don't forget that after its success, we need to run the function, and the function, it should be let's see into the edit post. It should be this one, query client invalidate queries. Okay, so let's copy that and paste that in here. Okay, just make sure query client. Oh, we don't need the query client here. So of course we need to create the variable up here. So let's copy, paste that here. Okay, the query client. And of course we need to import that. All right, we have the function here, which is delete post. It should be post here. Mutation, all right. So we need to create another function as well here. I'm gonna call that handle delete. So that equals to gonna be tag ID, and for now I just want to console log the ID. And down here we have the delete button. All right, when I click that, I need to on click, I need to run function called handle delete. So here I'm gonna say let's do handle delete. And we need to send also the ID here. So we can say post.id. Okay. So when we click that, it should be console log the ID. So let's try. I'm going to click ID1, ID2. This is a random come from UUID, right? So now here, what we need to do is let's run the delete post mutation. How do we do that? Simple. We can just put delete mutation dot mutate, just like that. And here we need to put the ID, just like that. So after we click this, this will be run. And also this will be running this function here, which is delete post, which is right here. Okay, it should be fetch this one here with method delete. All right. So now I want to refresh and I want to delete this. Bam, bam, bam. All right, that's pretty cool. Everything clean here. Let's make it small. I think 100. And I'm gonna open the let's see here, DevTools. I'm gonna create a new title. Let's see, this is 1. This is body 1. If I hit enter, and as you can see here, we have this is 1. And if I click this, as you can see here, we have the data here, which is 1 data, and I can also add another thing here. So let's do that. We have 2 data. I can do that as well here. We have 3 data. Okay. If I click the detail here, we have the post and then the ID here. As you can see, you can go back. All right. Everything work perfectly fine. And I can edit that as well. So let's do updated. Okay. It's updated here. Okay. We can delete that as well. So hopefully guys, you learn something new from this video and you can implement the TanStack query in your project. So hope this is helpful and see you in the very next video.